Okay, so in this school, PSNI school, we have as teachers a guideline with all kind of rules and regulations. What do you do when this happens? Who's in charge of this? Guidelines for the tests and so on and so on. This is our school teacher's guideline. The same way a business will have a guideline, policies in place. Hulle sal beleide hê waarvolgens die rekeningkundige afdeling van hulle besigheid hanteer word. Now I'm just going to start by telling you the first guideline you need is how you will have effective control over cash. Jou kontantbeheermaatreëls. En julle weet, in graad 8 en 9 het julle geleer, julle het kontant in die bank, jy het kontant in die till, your cash float, and you have cash in petty cash. Now all these different places need to have controls. When you put your money in the bank, it's the safest place, you know that. But what about the petty cash and the cash float? You can look at petty cash and cash float similar, and at the same time, all right, simultaneously, because it's basically the same thing. How will you control it? People, I'm not going to go through that. You can read it yourself. Jy kan self lees, hoe gaan jy maak dat daar beheer is? Gee verantwoordelikhede vir verskillende mense. Veral met kontant, die groot ding wat altyd uitspring wanneer ons dink aan kontant. One major important thing is differentiate, give different people different jobs. Don't let one person handles everything about cash, because it's just, the temptation is just too high. Even the honest person could be tempted by saying, listen, I'm just going to borrow 10 rand here, I'll put it back tomorrow, I just don't have it now. You don't want that. And therefore, you must have proper authorization. Behoorlike persone wat verantwoordelik gaan wees vir verskillende take ten opsigte van die hantering van kontant. Okay, then the other thing would be your stocks. Voorraad. Hoe gaan jy seker maak dat mense nie maklik hulle hande op die voorraad kry nie? You want to make sure that you know exactly how much stock came in, how much stock went out, by having proper documentation in place. So again, authorization, documentation, those are my kind of controls. And I'm going to, in class, just refer to them as well. But I'm going to put it right at the end, where you're going to say, how do we do those? Just 4 pointers. But it's actually authorization, documentation, put those things in control. All right. And then the next thing would be, once you've done your stock and your cash, you also have to be having controls in place for your fixed assets, like having a fixed asset register. Nou verkeerd kom. 'n Vaste bate register. Onthou net, jy kan nie laat iemand sommer net uitstap uit die besigheid uit en jou rekenaar leen van die besigheid. Maybe the business have a laptop. You can't just say, okay, the secretary can take the laptop home. How would you know that? You can't just allow it to happen. You have to have people giving permission. You have to have a proper system whereby you record any fixed assets that you buy. Dink byvoorbeeld aan ons skool. Dink net hoeveel stoele is daar. Think of how many desks we have in our school. Think of how many of those projectors we have in our school. As ons nie 'n behoorlike bateregister het nie, a register where we can record the fixed asset. What is going to happen? I actually should have used a yellow now. What is going to happen? You wouldn't know which of your assets are still old, which of the assets are young. In an asset register, you write down the dates of purchase, how long you've had it, the depreciation of value every year, which you're still going to learn this year, how to record depreciation, all those little things, very important factors. En dan die laaste plek is jou debiteure. Lastly, your debtors. You can't just sell on credit to debtors if you don't control them. If you give a debtor 2 months to pay you, they need to settle it within 2 days, 2 months. As jy vir mense toelaat om by jou te koop, maar jy hou nie boek van hulle adresse nie. Jy doen nie die FICA vereistes nie. You don't look at credit policies. You don't look at if a person don't earn more than a certain amount of money, you can't give them any credit. You can't allow them to take stuff and don't pay for it and pay for it later. Jy moet al hierdie beleide en kontrolemaatreëls in plek hê. Right, so this is what you need to go through, and you need to go work through these 2 pages in the next 2 days, and you need to learn them. This is literally learning work that you will do for accounting. Okay, that's the end of this Controls and Ethics chapter.